1923. It may have aired its final episode of Season 2, but if you think the story's over, think again. This isn't a goodbye, it's a pause. A breath before the storm. Because for many of the characters we've come to love, hate, or obsess over, their journey is far from complete. In fact, it feels like we've only scratched the surface. The Dutton legacy is still unraveling, secrets are still buried, and futures are hanging by a thread. Fans everywhere are asking the same burning question: is Season 3 coming? Because the way Season 2 ended left us on a cliff, suspended in uncertainty. And one storyline stands out more than any other, a storyline wrapped in grief, resilience, and controversy. At the heart of it all is Elizabeth, a character who divides opinion like no other. Some call her reckless, others see her as heartbreakingly human. But one thing's certain: she's impossible to ignore. Her world has been shattered, her choices questioned, her future unknown. And yet, there's a growing belief that her fate may hold the key to everything that comes next. So, the real question is, what really happened to Elizabeth, and why might her arc be the spark that reignites the entire Yellowstone universe? So, let's talk about those swirling rumors. Yes, the ones hinting that Elizabeth might be getting her own spin-off series. At first glance, it might seem like a stretch. Some fans roll their eyes, others hesitate, unsure if she's earned a standalone arc. I get it. Elizabeth has been a polarizing figure since day one. Her impulsiveness, her grief, her fragile strength, none of it fits neatly into the hardened mold we expect from Dutton women. But maybe that's exactly why her story deserves to be told. Because beneath all that messiness is something rare, raw, unfiltered humanity. And if Taylor Sheridan has taught us anything, it's that the most powerful stories come from the most unexpected places. This video and everything we're about to dive into just might make you see her in a whole new light. Because while others faded into the background, Elizabeth walked away. Not just from the Dutton ranch, but from everything she once believed her future would be. And that final moment in the Season 2 finale, it wasn't just emotional, it was symbolic. A woman, shattered by loss, silently walking into the unknown and doing it alone. No support, no family, no Dutton behind her. Just a storm of heartbreak and a baby in her belly. That silence from the family, it wasn't just cold, it was deafening. It spoke louder than any dialogue could. And that's what makes her story so compelling. It forces us to ask, why was she left behind? Did she lose the baby? Did she choose to keep it and raise it away from the ranch? Why would the Duttons turn their backs on someone carrying the next heir to their bloodline? Because if there's one thing we know about this family, it's that blood always matters. So if they went quiet, maybe it's not abandonment, it's secrecy. Maybe Elizabeth's arc isn't over. Maybe it's the beginning of a new chapter we haven't even glimpsed yet. Now here's where it all gets even more fascinating. Michelle Randolph, the actress behind Elizabeth, recently opened up in an interview, and her words flipped the script entirely. She confirmed that yes, Elizabeth is still pregnant in that final scene. That one detail changes everything. It means her journey didn't end with tragedy. It continued in quiet defiance. In survival. In strength. Elizabeth didn't disappear. She chose to walk her own path. And there's something deeply powerful about that. Even Michelle confessed that she's been building her own version of what comes next, wondering where Elizabeth went and who she becomes. We assume she's going back to Boston, she said. We don't know where she's going. That mystery? That's not a loose end. It's a doorway. A narrative seed full of potential. What if she doesn't go home? What if she forges a new life elsewhere, determined to protect her child from the chaos of the Dutton name? Or better yet, what if she returns stronger, more resilient, ready to reclaim her place and demand respect from a family that once turned away? Because let's be real, if Taylor Sheridan decides to center a new series around Elizabeth and her child, it wouldn't just be a continuation, it would be a reinvention. A fresh lens on the Dutton legacy, told through the eyes of someone who lived through heartbreak, betrayal, and isolation, and chose not to crumble. That kind of story, it has the potential to be one of the most emotionally rich, soul-stirring arcs in the entire Yellowstone universe. So if you wrote Elizabeth off, if you thought her journey had nowhere left to go, think again. Because the silence at the end of season 2 wasn't the end of her story. It was the calm before something bigger. And if a spin-off is coming, then we might just be witnessing the rise of a new matriarch. One born not from power, but from pain, perseverance, and the will to fight for her future. And honestly, if the actors themselves are still asking questions, still wondering what's next, then I'd bet anything this isn't the last we've seen of Elizabeth. Not by a long shot. And speaking of goodbyes, can we talk about how Jack's death completely blindsided many of us? It happened so fast that we didn't even get to mourn him, which is yet another plot thread waiting to be explored. Michelle even said she had to reread the script because it all happened so quickly. And that's exactly how it felt watching it. One moment they were fighting for each other, and the next it was just over. What a cruel ending for such a beloved character. I still can't believe it. And let's be clear, giving Elizabeth more screen time wouldn't just be a welcome addition. It would be necessary, essential. Her journey has barely begun, and cutting it short would be a disservice not just to her character, but to the emotional weight she's carrying both literally and symbolically. Her story deserves space to breathe. It deserves quiet moments of reflection, aching grief, and slow burning resilience. Imagine an entire arc built around her healing, not in isolation, but through vivid, heart-wrenching scenes that pull us into her memories. Scenes that return us to her stolen moments with Jack, a soft glance across a dinner table, laughter under Montana skies, whispered promises of a future that was never meant to be. These moments, brought to life through tender flashbacks, could become the emotional heartbeat of a new series, echoes of a love that didn't die, but transformed into something even more powerful, legacy. Because here's the deeper truth, Elizabeth isn't just carrying a child. She's carrying Jack's legacy. Their love didn't vanish when the bullets fell or when the dust settled. It's still there. It's growing inside her. That child is more than a symbol of what they lost. It's a living, breathing continuation of everything they hoped for. And that's why this story isn't finished. That's why we're not ready to close the book. If anything, we've only just opened it. So when people say 1923 is over, I always pause. I don't think it's over at all. And I'm not alone. There's a rising tide of Voices fans who feel in their bones that this world still has more to say. Not just through another season, but through something new. Something focused. Something deeply personal. A spin-off, yes, but not just any spin-off. One that places Elizabeth at the very center. One that picks up her story right where it left off, grieving, pregnant, and walking alone into an uncertain future. Possibly in Boston, possibly somewhere entirely new. But wherever she goes, her story goes with her, and so does ours. And here's where things get even more real. That rumor, the one about a potential Elizabeth-centered spin-off, it's no longer just a whisper in the fan forums. It's gaining serious momentum. And it's not just speculation. Michelle Randolph herself recently said something that stuck with me. She admitted, I don't feel like I have a full sense of closure either. That's not a throwaway comment. That's a quiet crack in the door. That's the kind of thing actors say when they just know there's more story to tell. And if even she feels like Elizabeth's journey isn't done, you can bet audiences everywhere are feeling it too. Frankly, I'm glad she spoke up. Because if you followed Yellowstone and its spin-offs for any length of time, you know one thing for sure: Paramount plays it close to the chest. They wait. They watch. And they listen for the fan base to roar. We've seen it with 1,883. We saw it with 1,923. And now we're seeing it again. Elizabeth's story might just be the ember that reignites the next fire in this ever-expanding universe. But here's the part that really deserves your attention. This isn't just about Elizabeth. It's about the child. Her baby isn't just another Dutton heir. This child could be the missing link, the key to the entire Dutton timeline. Let's put the pieces together. We know John Dutton, the patriarch in Yellowstone, is part of the fifth generation. But Spencer, he doesn't quite fit the puzzle. So who does? All signs begin to point to Elizabeth's unborn child. The timelines match. The emotional stakes align. This child could very well be the next cornerstone of the Dutton dynasty, the bloodline that carries the family name through the decades and into the present day. And that changes everything. This child could one day return to Montana, reclaim the land, rebuild the legacy, and rise from the ashes of a fractured past to forge a stronger, more purposeful future. And Elizabeth, her pain, her choices, her strength could be the guiding force that sets that story in motion. A spin-off focused on her wouldn't just extend the Yellowstone saga, it would deepen it. It would answer one of the most haunting questions still left unanswered: who truly connects the old world of 1923 to the modern Dutton empire we see in Yellowstone? So no, this isn't just about giving a character more screen time. It's about finally giving voice to a woman who's been quietly carrying the future. It's about finishing the story with the same emotional depth, complexity, and grit that made this universe great to begin with. And if you ask me, that story's not just worth telling, it's vital. And yes, this is the show we need right now. Not next year. Not someday. Now. At least, that's how I feel. But what about you? Do you think Elizabeth deserves her own series? Do you think her child could be the missing key to the Dutton bloodline? Let me know in the comments, because while we haven't heard anything official yet from Paramount Plus, I think we all know what's coming. And sure, we get it, Taylor Sheridan's plate is overflowing right now. Between tying up the final season of Yellowstone, developing 6,666, launching the Matthew McConaughey spin-off, and mapping out 1,944, there's no shortage of Dutton content in the pipeline. But still, Elizabeth's story feels urgent. It feels unfinished. And if you ask me, it deserves to be told. But none of those shows are set in Elizabeth's era. None of them pick up the emotional thread left dangling at the end of 1923. That's exactly why this new show won't just act as a season 3, but also as a bridge between 1923 and 1944. And let's not forget, Taylor Sheridan has a clear eye for talent, and his continued collaboration with Michelle Randolph says a lot. He brought her into Lawman, Bass Reeves, proving once again that when he sees potential, he nurtures it. It's a trend we've seen across the Sheridan universe. Actors who resonate with audiences often get deeper, richer stories, and sometimes entire series of their own. So if history is any indication, Elizabeth's journey might just be the next chapter we didn't know we needed. Now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. Are you ready to see Elizabeth take center stage in her own spin-off? Do you believe her child could be the missing link in the Dutton legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and honestly, your theories, your passion, and your insights are what make this community so powerful. Some of the best ideas out there, they've come straight from you. If this breakdown sparked something in you, and you want more in-depth stories, character deep dives, and all the latest from the Yellowstone universe and beyond, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the conversation. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel, for showing up, and for keeping these stories alive long after the credits roll. This community we're building together, it's special. And trust me when I say we're just getting started. And hey, if you're still craving more drama, mystery, and legacy talk, don't go anywhere. The video playing right now? It's got everything you're looking for. Go check it out. I'll meet you over there.